Hello, and thanks for joining us today. I'm Janet Williams from Progressive Discoveries, and I'm here on behalf of the Unitas One Beauty Industry Think Tank. And we are a part of the Cultural Intelligence Committee. I'm excited to have Robert Presage here with us today. Robert, please introduce yourself.
Hey, Janet. Good morning. Great to see you. Great to be with you. For those of you that don't know me, as Janet said, my name is Robert Passage, and I'm the chair and CEO for Pivot Point International, an educational company based out of Chicago.
Fantastic. Thank you, Robert. And it's been a pleasure to work with you and the rest of the committee members around the issues of cultural intelligence for the beauty industry. And we've been talking about this in so many different ways. It's been a really ongoing and rich conversation. And together we came up with an acronym that speaks to how we want to show up in the industry, and that's called Beauty Plus. So each member of the committee has a letter designated to him or her, and you are talking about the why in Beauty Plus, which represents you. So please tell us, how does the why, the you, represent you on a personal level?
Well, first and foremost, Janet, let me just say thank you to you. When Jan Arnold approached me, well, she actually approached the committee and asked all of us, to think about who should be a part of this Cultural Intelligence Committee. And of course, your name came to mind right away because we've worked together in the past and at Pivot Point. And so you were a perfect fit. And the other thing that was really important when I spoke to Jan about this is that the committee really needed to reflect who we are as an industry, right? Whether it was race, whether it was gender, whether it was sexual orientation, it didn't really matter. It needed to reflect who we were. It didn't need to be a bunch of little white guys like me sitting on a committee, right? So I thought that was really important. So thank you for taking the time to guide our committee. Because obviously this is a passion project for you. This is what your business is all about. So thank you. So in terms of the why in Beauty Plus, I guess I'll just read for the audience the definition of why. And the definition is learning and behaving using Beauty Plus principles from the inside out and sharing it with others. And as you and I have spoken about before, I think the reason why the why in Beauty Plus resonated with me is because it starts with you, and in this case, me as an individual, right? I think it starts with you and it ends with you. And if you don't understand it yourself, how do you pass those traits on to others, right? So, for me. Ever since the pandemic struck in March of 2020, it's been an emotional roller coaster. And of course, we've had all kinds of things that have occurred in our society. And I think the one thing that really resonated with me was the killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis in May of 2020, 2 months after the pandemic struck. And it just really struck me emotionally. We were having regular weekly calls with all of our employees since we were all working remote. And, I had to share with my team why this was bothering me so much, because I grew up in a family business, a very colorful industry, being around very colorful people. My father had a school at the time. And, I was surrounded by these individuals. My best friend growing up was a Black family next door, Keith Davis. So when I saw this happening in Minneapolis, I thought to myself, what's going on here? Why does this continue to happen today? I mean, obviously, these things have happened throughout throughout time, but it just seems like it doesn't always get better. And I think it does. I think if we look back, things have improved. But every time something like this pops up, it just reminds us, that we're all part of the human race, right? And I just think it's really important that we work hard at that, and that we pass those traits on to others. That we are more tolerant, in terms of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. I think we need to do a much better job of that, and
Sure.
that's why I joined the committee and why I'm so passionate about this project. So
Well, we're always so excited to chat about this topic and more as part of that committee, and you add so much value to it. And thank you so much for the lovely things that you said. So, talk to me a little bit about how this stands up for the industry and how that you piece in the Beauty Plus is important for us as an industry today.
Well, again, I think the fact that the Unite as One group took this project on and formed this Cultural Intelligence Committee speaks to why it's so important for us to work on something like this today, and why it's so important for us to pass this on. I think sometimes as we get older, we get set in our ways, and we don't always make the changes necessary. And I think certainly the younger generations that come in behind us, and I think back to my younger days, and I'm sure same with you, these things are really important to young generations.
Yeah.
And, whether it's the beauty industry or any other industry, they're the ones that are going to have to carry the torch forward. I think, with our collective wisdom, we can pass on some of these things, like the Beauty Plus principles that we've aligned on, and pass those on to the younger generation to make sure that this is a movement that not only resonates today, but resonates with individuals moving forward, and so that we can become a better industry for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're really talking about what's happening now and also what this could look like in the future. Is there anything else that you'd like to add
Yeah,
about
you know what?
that piece?
I'd like to talk a little bit about what we're doing as an organization, right? I mean,
Sure.
we brought you on, to really focus in on this whole concept of DEIB. And one of the first things we did after the George Floyd incident back in May of 2020 was to take a hard look at our education. I think a lot of people know that Pivot Point's an educational company, and we wanted to make sure that we were doing all of the right things. And so, we obviously went back and looked at all of our educational programs to make sure that not only did it look right, but that we were doing the right thing, whether it was working with coily curly hair, whether it was working with different skin tones. I mean, all of these things were really important to us as an organization, and we had to reflect on, are we doing a good enough job? And I said, yeah, we're doing a good job, but we can absolutely do a better job. So as long as that's always at the forefront of our folks on our team as an organization, then I think we will continue to improve in those areas. And you have my word, Janet, and to the audience, that we will strive to make sure that we are very diverse, we are very equitable, and we are very inclusive, so that people feel like they really truly belong to our industry. So as a company, you have my word on that.
That is what it's all about, Robert. Thank you so much for that. It's always a pleasure to speak with you, and we'll talk soon.
My pleasure, Janet. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye now.
Okay. Bye bye.